Diamond Lanes in Pasadena, Texas for the finals of the Greater Pasadena Open. Competition begins tonight with a breakthrough game featuring Liane Barrett, Tish Johnson, and Rachel Perez. The one with the highest score will break through to face 15-time titleist Kim Adler in head-to-head competition, and the winner of that semifinal match will take on last week's champion Liz Johnson for the title. And it's all about winning, and earlier tonight, 6-year-old Amanda Young, daughter of Diamond Lanes owners Jimmy and Trudy Young, was a winner as she fulfilled the dream of a lifetime, throwing out the opening ball for this evening and receiving high fives from some of the top women bowlers in the world. Hello everyone, I'm Jan Schmidt. Thanks for joining us. Amanda has the fighting spirit that all athletes need. She's recovering from surgery from complications of juvenile diabetes, plus from removal of a cancerous tumor that was discovered during that surgery. But that didn't stop her from coming out here and getting to know the top women in the sport that she loves. She was in awe of these ladies, but little does she know just how much they were in awe of her. She truly is an inspiration. Working with me tonight is the lady who embodies the fighting spirit, Carolyn Doran Ballard. Carolyn, we can learn a lot from kids, like how to bounce back. And I think Kim took that lesson to heart as she bounced back from a mid-season dry spell.
The beginning of 2002, Kim was on fire. She made 3 consecutive shows with 1 title. Then she found herself week to week wondering, what's keeping me from getting back to the top 5? This week, she found the winning combination. She bowled great. She had great ball reaction, and the key factor, she finally had a winning percentage in match play.
Well, our number 4 seed, Tish Johnson, has been winning matches out here for a very long time. Carolyn, is she changing her perspective in her 22nd year on tour?
I cannot believe it's been 22 years and 24 titles later. Is Tish Johnson thinking about retirement? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. She's lived through it all. With bowling, she has thrown plastic, she has thrown urethane, and she has thrown reactive. And you know what? She has persevered. She is here tonight. What would winning do for Tish Johnson? I think that fiery competitor is not ready to turn the torch over to the young guns out here.
Well, not only does she want to turn the torch over to the young guns, she wants to take $10,000 from the family of one of those young guns who are putting up a $10,000 bonus for a 300 on TV. Here's a look at Tish Johnson's last strike in the 5th frame. Tripped the 6 pin, lucky to carry it down. Sixth one in a row, Carolyn.
6 points. She's had a few taps here and there. Luck seems to go with her in this match.
She's definitely kicking him out, and once again, Gary and Linda Feldman and Bud Harvard have a $10,000 bonus for a 300 on television, and Tish is after it. Here's Liane Barrett, who had a split early on in the 2nd frame, but other than that, she's been perfect striking.
Ooh, you heard her say push when she let that one go. Leanne told me before she started that the lanes were a little bit tighter for her. She's using a ball. Gets down the lane, still rolls, but hooks a little more on the back end than she did yesterday and the day before. And there you see, got it in just a little, went through the nose.
Well, here's Rachel Perez in her 2nd TV appearance of the year. And 3 weeks ago or so, Carolyn, you and I talked about it being her first appearance since like '97. It was her 2nd career, and here she is a few weeks later, right back on the telecast.
Here's Leanne, qualifying 5th, 227 average. She had the highest average out of all the finalists. Rachel just has put it all together. Last year, she started working with Dr. Dean Hinnitz. She worked on her entire spectrum of her life, including her bowling. And here she is. It's really paying off. She has a newfound confidence. Surface this week, wood. Volume of oil, 27 milliliters. Length of oil, 35 feet. Offense. Tish just keeps it going.
He doesn't seem to mind the sport condition we're bowling on this week. It was a very high-scoring sport condition.
High-scoring sport condition, but both sides of the lane, left and right. Ladies played as far right or left as possible. Entry of angle was great this week.
High again for Liane Barrett, who had a difficult time actually getting started this week. A little bit of a letdown after the events of last week, breaking that million.
She said it was a great week. She was happy with her performance. Yet she came in this week saying, wow, gosh, I got to get it going again. I had such a great time, but I got to gear up for this week.
Now going going high on 19 again, just like Leanne's been high twice on that lane. Did you see any indication of a difference in the lanes at all yet?
The only thing I can see with Rachel is she's left a couple of ring 10s. And of course, what's the first thing you want to say now to yourself? Well, I'm leaving ring 10s, now I got to make it strike. You get it in a little bit, just miss a little left, and with the back ends hooking the way they were, these are disastrous sport.
Okay, Tish Johnson on the front, 7 strikes. Leads by 67 pins. Her high game this week was 279. She's looking to better that.
And she's also beat both Perez and Barrett in match play. Great shot by Tish. Way out there to the 2 board. Sends a pin across and, oh, just goes in front of it.
I was just about to say that she has 48 career games. At least I didn't get it out, so it wasn't my fault that didn't fall.
48, my goodness. Wants to definitely make it 49 tonight for 50,000.
Looks like it's possible. Got enough to spare.
Leanne changing balls to shoot at the spare. Ball that goes straighter, doesn't hook.
Rachel Perez, the week after she made the show, she actually broke her little toe on her push foot, on the foot she pushes with, and it's been giving a little problem. She said she's getting twinges, but she's been able to compete, so she's happy with that.
1999 WBC champion, another ring 10. Rachel bowled great. She said she really worked on being calm tonight, wanted to get her arm swing in motion, not be nice and smooth, and you know what? She bowled a really, really good game.
She probably didn't expect someone to come out with the front 7 against her. Another 7 pin. She'll save the strikes for the next game now. I think she feels pretty comfortable that she'll get through the breakthrough game. Tish comes to the spare again. Tish loves to play to the crowd.
And she says it calms her down. That when she, plays with the crowd and talks to people, it actually takes away some of the nerves.
Ann Barrett never getting it lined up, but she sure lined it up last night. It was such a tight position round, and Tish Johnson struck out first to ensure her spot in the show, and then Liane Barrett had to throw 3 in the 10th to get in the show, and she did. Marcia Kamrowski fell out of the show, but bowled a fine game. It was a
great game.
To look at those scores we talked about in position round, 258 for Tish, 257 for Leanne. They were bowling each other.
And Liz winning the match to take over first place. So there were a lot of things going on in position round, and a lot of girls had the opportunity to still make the show.
Marcia Kamrowski threw the last 4 strikes on Sable 190 after a tough break with a pocket split, but it wasn't enough to get her into the show. So Tish Johnson in the lead now by 69 pins. Obviously very happy she came up with that 258 last night to get here.
Well, this is the Tish Johnson everyone remembers. Throwing a lot of strikes. You don't get 24 titles by not throwing a lot of strikes, playing to the crowd, reacting. She's a lot of fun to watch.
She's a WIBC and Professional Hall of Famer. That looks similar. A little slower motion, but
coming right across in front of that
17. Liane Barrett in her 8th show. This is 8 out of 10 for Leanne. What a run she's been on.
8 out of 10. This is her 97th TV appearance, and she is 2nd with the most TV appearances. She is 1 behind Wendy. And I gotta tell you, the way Leanne's been bowling, I wouldn't be surprised if this year Leanne gets to 100.
That is a lot of TV appearances.
That's a ton of TV appearances.
Now, was that better?
And Tish actually is 3rd in TV appearances with 95.
Some veterans out there right now in this match. okay? Was she trying to see about kicking out that second pin she's been leaving?
Another great week for Leanne. Rachel wants to thank her sponsors, Ed and Nancy Herndon. They've been her friend for quite a few years and have really backed her 100%. And also Martha Bingham, we send our prayers and thoughts with you. She's not feeling real well, so good friend of Rachel's.
I know Rachel was thrilled that her sponsors came out and surprised her last night. It's a good added support system.
She didn't even know they were here till the last game.
So high score in the breakthrough game belongs to that lady, Tish Johnson, with 254. So she'll be the one to break through to the semifinal match and take on Kim Adler. That'll be right after this. Final scores in the breakthrough game. Tish Johnson, 254. Liane Barrett, 188. And Rachel Perez, 181. Kim Adler auctioned logo space on her skirts on eBay this summer. According to eBay officials, she was the first individual professional athlete to solicit sponsorship through their internet auction. She received over $14,000 from New York-based Pacific Pools, and she talked about it a little bit earlier today.
Well, Pacific Pools is a manufacturer of in-ground pools. They have retailers nationwide, and they're on board with me now to have patch time on ESPN, ESPN2. Hopefully, this will give them a lot of exposure.
And they're getting ready for the semifinal match. And we had a little indecision whether they were going to shake hands or not. Is that what happened? I missed
No,
that.
actually, Tish asked her, oh, I thought I was starting. And she says, oh, I was just shooting for the picture for the patch. So that was what that was about. Tish came out strong. I talked to her before this match. She said she thought they were getting a little bit tighter in the middle part of the lane. The shot in the 10th frame, what she did was she moved a little right to see if she could bank it, or if she had a little hold, it went through the nose. She chose to move back left, throw a little bit harder.
Okay. Good information. Kim Adler now up in a career on television. She hasn't fared well against Tish Johnson. She's 0-4, only averaged 183.5 against Tish Johnson on TV.
Kim changed to this ball with her last 2 practice shots left. Spoke to Rachel, spoke to Leanne. They told me the lane started to hook early and in the middle part of the lane, and that the back ends were already hooking. Kim, on the other hand, told me she chose to move right, and she felt like the middle part of the lane was getting tighter. Looked like a good shot. Just before it gets down to the head pin, duck hooked left.
She'll change balls to shoot her spare and covers it up. You saw she did defeat Tish Johnson during the week. It was a close match, though, just 2 pins. And on the year, during the week, she's down against Tish, 3-5. 229 average. As you mentioned, Carolyn, average is pretty high this week.
Kim was 3rd on the TV pair out of all the finalists this evening.
High again. This time leaving a 4. 7. Oh my gosh. That 10, I think somebody's down there. She's thanking him. Oh my, that 10 pin fell very late.
Goes through the nose again. Pin goes through the 6-10, knocks the 6, and rolls the 10 after about 10 minutes.
Exactly.
I'm not real sure what happened there.
Wow.
She'll change. Actually, she will not change balls. Kim uses her strike ball, or goes off of her strike ball to shoot at a spare. She crosses the lane. But you can,
some people do that.
yes, and you're going to see, though, entry of angle is going to be very important here. Leanne went back and said entry of angle to gain carry was the key. The girls tried to stay as far right as possible or as far left to get the better carry. So we'll see what Kim does, because as she goes up the lane, the ball is going through the nose. Tish stepping back for a minute.
People down the lane again. We're getting a lot of people out at our television shows, and there was some movement in her peripheral vision there. I'm in light 3 pin. running it out. She thought it was a good shot. Looks a little confused.
Looks like a good shot. Got it out to 2-3. She did say, though, she felt like the middle part of the lane was getting a little tighter. She might be experiencing a little carry down. She is the only one on that side of the lane. She leaves a 3-pin. She steps off again.
That's the kids in the bleachers.
As we hear. Some excited fans.
Yes. Kids are moving around in the bleachers.
232 consecutive tournaments, 24 titles, 95 TV appearances. My goodness. It's almost like you look and you say, what else can she do?
All right, you guys got to sit still, okay?
Well, there's a lot that goes on throughout our week, and one of the things is a pro-am. So if you're within driving distance of Las Vegas, or if you're looking for a quick getaway, join the PWBA athletes in a pro-am event at the tour's new Vegas home, Texas Station. Pro-am squads for the Storm Las Vegas PWBA Challenge are Sunday, November 3rd. Entrants receive a storm shock trauma. So call 702-631-1050 or 800-654-8804 to sign up. We'd love to see you out there. Get to know the ladies, and there's the 17.
Sent a couple messengers. Doesn't hit either pin. Looks like it's coming right into the pocket. 2 pins hit both of those, and neither one falls. She's disgusted.
Nice break.
Gets one. She says, nice break. She may have to make a move here. Like I said, she's probably experienced a little bit of carry down. Only one on her side. Honestly, the adjustments might be minor. Could be a good factor, could be a bad factor.
Kim Adler now in the lead by 11 pins. That on our Travelodge scoreboard. After that bad break for Tish Johnson, after Kim just received a good break on that same lane.
Looks like Kim moved a little bit further right. She's going a little more direct up the lane, leaves the 10 pin. What happened this week was, as the lanes started to break down, we were playing at the beginning of the week the 3, 4, 5 break point area. Instead of trying to move left, everybody still tried to move right. Used weaker equipment, shined the equipment they were using to try to keep that area from burning up. Kim dreaded miss.
She was handed a break and just gave it back.
Yes. Now, one thing Kim did say last night, she emphasized the fact her spare shooting was better this week, where in the past few weeks she's been sparing terribly. But she said, finally, this week, it all came together. I was throwing a lot of strikes, making my spares. Here we go.
Wow, that just slid off. So right now she trails by 1 pin in the 4th frame.
Oh, a kitty coming over. Oh, you are kidding. Back to back. 7 10s. Pin comes over, goes to hit the 10, but it still stands. Looks like another good shot. Comes in light, half pocket. Pin rolls over, taps it, but doesn't knock it over. So a lot of 7 10s the last day. Lanes were a little bit different. Carry wasn't as good.
Tish can't believe it. You know, we'll see when Liz Johnson gets on our top seat. She actually picked up the 710 again this week, last week, and this week.
Unbelievable. And she shot at the 7 pin each time, and boom, bounced it out. Here's our PWBA millionaires. Tish, 3rd on the list. Leanne just joining them last week, 4th. Great shot by Tish, making the adjustment. Looks like she's going to move a little left, a little more direct up the lane.
Well, that's something that she told us, Carolyn, she's been working on, is now she leads by 12 pins to 4 frames, that she's been working to try to be able to play more direct, because she's one who always liked to go left or away with the ball.
She likes to float the ball off her hand to the left, and she's really been trying to practice to stay more up the back of it and a little more square through the head. She says ball conserves energy, gets a little more pop on the back. Another great shot by Tish.
We'll take a quick break and then return with more semifinal action. Through 4.5 frames, Tish Johnson is out in front by 22 pins. Stay with us. We're back, and while we were away, Tish Johnson threw 2 more strikes. Kim Adler another 10 pin. This time she spared it and then tripped a 4. So right now, Johnson in the lead by 32 pins. Make it 42.
Tish will come Just like Liz Johnson was saying last night, hey, I was able to play my comfort zone the last 2 weeks. Guess what? Tish made the same comment. She's in her comfort zone. That's what she likes to do. She's worked at trying to make it a little more versatile for herself. Here's the result.
Kim Adler won earlier this year. That was the 3rd event of the year. High again.
That was a great example of how 1-2 hooked all week. When you got it there early, though, this is the result. Get it off your hand. You got it a little right early. Boom. Bounce through the nose. The hook really hooked off 1-2.
So she will attempt to convert the 6-10 this time, and she does. We talked about that heartbreaking finish for Marcia Kamrowski. What a bad break she had, even though she threw the last 4. Carolyn there in 7th. Marianne actually 4th in average, but only 8 wins.
Yeah, she had a big 279 game to move herself up, too. Dee Dee Davidson coming back this season strong, making the finals from a back injury. Kelly Kulick, our reigning Rookie of the Year.
Kim Adler now in the 7th frame, trailing by 42 pins. She almost is in a must-strike situation. And that's a repeat of what we saw in lane 19 while we were at break. Tripping that core.
A little more direct up the lane. Gets the break.
Well, you're talking about all the changes Tish has made. She leaves the 7-pin. Carolyn, one of the things that she did this week was she went to lighter equipment the last day.
Very last day, she used a 14-pound bowling ball, and I said to her, "You did?" She said, "I've approximately been at home a little bit," and she told us why.
Yeah, the question is, does it take away from her carry? Covers it up, but as you said, Carolyn, she told us why earlier, why she decided to use that 14-pound bowling ball.
Well, I needed to move a little bit left, and with the stuff I was using, it was just hooking a little bit too soon. So with 14, I can get the ball down the lane a little bit quicker, and it goes down the lane further, and it reacts a lot better and saves up energy.
Seems to be saving enough energy tonight so far. Now, because of the fact that she's able to oftentimes keep a good angle into the pocket, it's easier with the 14-pound ball. She has to go deeper, correct?
It is. I mean, angle eventually is very important. And one thing that she realizes too is with the 14-pound equipment, she's able to move left, throw it harder, and get the result she wants.
Almost a result she didn't want.
Look at this on the same lane, but gets the 7 out this time. I did ask her, though, tonight she's throwing 15 pounds.
Oh, she is?
Yes, she is. I asked her on the break.
Okay. And did she say why?
She said because they were tighter when she started, and she felt she needed a little bit of roll and a slower ball speed. And as before Kim's match, I asked her again, have they changed for you at all? And like I said, she said, yes, I think they're getting even a little tighter in the back and in the middle. So she will stay with the 15-pound equipment, she said, until she feels like she has to throw it harder. Going a little more direct on that lane, not getting it, not bumping it to the right to hit the dry, leaves the 4-pin.
Look at the averages for the television pairs you mentioned earlier. Liane Barrett with the highest, 227. Rachel and Perez and Kim Adler in the 220s.
Unbelievable. And this week it was amazing that people were averaging 227 and they weren't winning matches.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
You know, Tish shot 300 over, or 293 over, and she won 3 matches. I mean, that's unheard of.
That is pretty amazing.
Here at the Pasadena Open, 13 of the top 24 players averaged 220 or better. That's a pretty good week.
Mm-hmm.
24 700 plus series, 2 300 games, Maxine Nabel and Carol Giannotti Block. I think there's an Australian thing going. And 42 times a player bowled over. I mean, that's just amazing.
That's crazy.
That's high scoring.
Kim Adler led the field with 4 of those 24 700s. She had 4 this week.
Oh, trips it on the left lane again.
Well, she has that left lane going, lane 19. She sure has figured out how to trip the 4, but 20 seems to be a mystery to her. And she doesn't realize that it's the 10th frame.
She's saying so soon? She wants another frame. And she's laughing at it. Oh, sure, Tish. It's easy to laugh at somebody when you're ahead by 4 yourself.
Oh, sorry, but this is good. Tish is trying to turn around so Kim Adler can't see that she's laughing, but
exactly.
It's okay. Kim can laugh at herself on this one as well.
I think Kim's very happy with her performance this week. She made a few changes, and it really paid off for her.
She wish she could just hold the match on lane 19. So Tish Johnson will advance, but first when we return, Queens and Championship Tournament information on this week's WIBC Extra Frames. The Greater Pasadena Women's Bowling Association served food all week. Everybody ate very well this week. We thank them for all of their help. Final score of the semifinal match, Tish Johnson 213 to Adler's 184. Coming up next, it's the Battle of the Johnsons. Tish Johnson tries to stop last week's champ, Liz Johnson, from taking home back-to-back trophies. There is the Greater Pasadena Open Trophy. It's a beautiful crystal bowling pin, and that's the one Liz Johnson will be trying to take home. That'll be her second trophy in a row if she wins, but Tish Johnson has other thoughts in her head. Liz Johnson has chosen to start the match. She's going for back-to-back titles. She has done that twice before in her career, Carolyn, once last year and once in '97.
Great come-out shot by Liz. Same thing Liz said that Tish said. I was in my comfort zone the last 2 weeks. I took full advantage of it, used the same equipment, juggled between 2 or 3 bowling balls, and here she is again leading the tournament. Great shot by Tish. I spoke to Tish before this match started, and I said, Tish, what's going on out there? You left a couple 7 pins. She said the right lane's getting a little tighter. She's made the adjustment.
Women's Sports Foundation has a gala dinner, and I'll go into that in just a little bit, but it's coming up next Monday, October 21st at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. And each year the Women's Sports Foundation hosts that event. It's a black tie fundraiser. It's Tish Johnson Strikes, and it celebrates women's sports. Top female athletes and celebrities from around the world attend. Individual and team Sportswomen of the Year are named, and other prestigious awards are presented. And as I mentioned, this year's event is on the 21st. So if you'd like to participate, call 800-227-3988, or you can go to womensportsfoundation.org for information on tickets. And if you can't do that, there's an online auction at WSFauction.com. Fantastic packages of top female athletes. And Carolyn, you were a part of that. You were one of the nominees, but unfortunately didn't make it to the final group, although you should have for your fine year last year.
Well, thank you, but at least we're getting bowling out there, and they're recognizing us just a little bit more. Great shot by Liv, this 5th TV appearance this year, 3rd consecutive, 2nd time, back-to-back weeks leading a tournament. Great shot by Liz. Liz told me before this match started, I shined up one of my bowling balls. I think they're hooking early and on the back. The only thing is this is what happened. When she throws it a little bit harder, uses a shinier ball, sometimes to carry, ring 10.
Okay, we'll watch for that. And hope that there's not a 7 with that 10.
I'd put my money on it. She's made 2.
Well, that's
both
true.
weeks in a row. Who cares? Go for it. You know.
Good shot there, coming back at the strike. Some of the other finishers this week, Brenda Norman, she won her first title earlier this year. Tammy Turner has been very consistent this year, and Maxine Nabel had one of the 2 300s.
Laura Lee Daniel, Corona, California, consistent cashier out here, has really made some improvements in her game. Karen Stroud, another hometown favorite, the Texas. The Happy Girl was making a TV show last week, consistent top 24. Looks like she got that one a little bit further out, 1-2 board and high flush. Made the adjustment on that lane. Still using the 15-pound ball. I asked her, has not changed. Of course, if she is experiencing a little bit of that carry down, getting a little tighter, she wants the ball to roll a little bit more. Tish with 2 and 4
win tonight, she'd be tied with Patty Costello for 25. That'd be number 4 on the list of all-time titleists. Liz Johnson now trails by 30. There's that 10 pin you talked about, Carolyn.
Another ring 10, great shot. One thing, Liz, even though she's in her comfort zone, she said, one thing I got to work on, I get too anxious. This is one of my weaknesses. When I get anxious, I get quick. I can't do that.
She covers up that spare, and on a somber but hopeful note, this week marked the 3rd anniversary of PWBA member Lucy Bonneau's death from breast cancer, and ironically, we're here in her hometown area, so the Houston WBA sold breast cancer support pins, and they're on sale league nights in 22 Houston bowling centers. $4 will go to the Stalin Foundation for Cancer Research, and $1 goes to the University of Houston Scholarship Fund in Lucy's name.
Great competitor, great bowler.
We've done a lot to raise money for those things, Carolyn. In fact, Storm Bowling Products made a special ball, 10 of them, with that logo, the pin logo on it, and they were sponsors of the Lucy Bonneau Southwest Mixed Regional Doubles, which I know you've bowled before.
Yes, and it's a great event, and Donna Connors works very hard. And Dynamic Lanes and David J., they put on a great
Tish has a front 5 right now, and she's back looking for that $10,000.
We got a great event going on here. Tish, smooth as silk, getting it out there to that 1-2 board, and that ball is just high flush. She's running it out, and yes, she likes it.
Just want to reference that tournament did generate $27,000. Plus, we work with the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and a regional there in the Western region generated $20,000. So the big winner in all of this, everyone who has or will be touched by breast cancer.
Career stats, 95. I'll tell you something, she's got 95 shows. I made a comment about Leanne. Tish keeps going like this, she could get to 100 this year.
Well, this is Tish's first show in over a year. It's been a long stretch. Well, first title in over a year she'd be going for.
It's amazing the confidence that you get once you make that first one of the year.
But yeah, it is her first one of the year, so.
Liz having the qualifying average of 231. That's a pretty high average.
Well, she certainly hasn't. She doesn't like lane 20 right now, which is actually where she chose to finish.
2 ring 10s, and then this shot looks like she gets it in just a little bit. Ball doesn't quite finish, leaves the 2 pin. The key here this week on the sport condition, 1-2 hook. It hooked a lot. But once you got it in that little bit around that 3, 4, 5 area, there was a little bit of a puddle. Then there was more hook in the middle part of the lane. So yes, you could bounce it off the drive, but boy, when you hit the oil, you had to hope your ball was really going to roll the right way.
2-1 for Liz Johnson, career television versus Tish Johnson, but their average is so close against each other on TV, 224 to 222.
Got that one in and got a great trick forward.
Okay, Tish Johnson on the front 6. We'd normally be breaking, but we'll stay with her to see if she can shoot that perfecto and grab $10,000.
You can see when they put them up, Tish's Army, Tish's Army. Hey, let me tell you, it's working.
Yes, you were right. She wasn't
Another
ready
good
to
shot.
surrender.
Up the lane. Seems like she got it in just a little bit, little more direct up the lane. So you know what that means? Right ball, right part of the lane. She has created a little area. And you know what? That's what you need out there. All-time titleist, Lisa Wagner at 32. Come on. She ran it out as soon as she let it go.
I knew she was going to punch Liz for that one.
Same thing. Looks like she might have gotten a little up the lane. Doesn't quite come in as high flush as it had been. Little half pocket, but sends a pin across, and doesn't get it out of there.
And she
Look
said,
at her. She's going.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Whoa, she said she was getting too old for this, is what she said after that first shot.
She's looking at her hand. Ball might have slipped off her hand a little bit. You know, adrenaline going a little bit. Get a little anxious, rush the shot a little.
Well, Liz Johnson could pull within 27 pins if she were to strike in the next 2 frames. She could make it a match. No, not on lane 20. She hasn't been able to do it. And I just want to take a minute. You saw the information on the WBC Nationals and the Queens tournament, Senior Queens. The woman that is the tournament director for that, Ruth Williams, was taken in for surgery, actually for a brain tumor, but she's doing very well. Came out and has been walking around, so we're very hopeful, and we're going to see her back in 2003 at that tournament, and we extend our prayers to Ruth Williams.
Great lady, great tournament director, and we'll be looking forward to seeing her at the WIBC tournament.
So Liz is working on a Dutch 200 here. All strikes on lane 19, all 9 spares on lane 20, as she trails by 47 pins through 8 frames. First time she hasn't struck on lane 19, and I'll tell you what, Carolyn, 12 of the 13 singles titles this year has been won from the top seed position, but it doesn't look like it tonight.
Now, it looks like she threw that one a little bit harder. She tripped the 4 pin. Leaves the 7, changes balls, something that doesn't hook, right at it.
Well, we'll be back in a flash to see who will capture the inaugural Greater Pasadena Open title. Right now, Tish Johnson is up by 47 through 8.5. The new and improved PWBA.com is now your information source for the PWBA, including schedules, entries, player bios, photos, and standings. Plus, it displays a complete new line of official PWBA merchandise, and you can pick up the live scoring of the finals of every event, all this in a user-friendly format. So please go on to PWBA.com, check it out. Check out our sponsors page as well, and take a look at their sites. Make sure you tune in next Monday for a special treat as PWBA athletes team with senior PBA members and wheelchair bowlers. It'll be the 5th Rollers and Pro Bowlers event, but the first time it'll be part of PWBA's televised schedule. Catch all the action from Brunswick Mesa Lanes beginning at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Now I'm going to take my time.
And Tish Johnson has been waiting on us, and she said, now I'm taking my time. She's going to make us wait on her. As she steps up in the 9th frame, actually now up by 48 pins. And she was trying to wiggle it down.
That's a winner.
She declared herself the winner. I think so. It's okay. After 22 years, I think you can do whatever you want.
I guess you can.
Tish's Army,
All right,
there's
let's
the
see if we can pick
signs.
this one up.
Come on. Wow, she said.
Tish's Army!
This year, we've got Leanne with 3.
Tish's Army!
Carolyn, Doran, Ballard with 2. And Tish Johnson now adds.
It left pretty quick. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is. Okay, Carolyn, yep. Michelle Feldman with 2, and then your individual champions, who Tish Johnson's name will be added to that list. And the magic of television, you would think they'd have it on there. She is thrilled, and Carolyn, you talked to her about whether this was going to change her decision on how long she may bowl.
And I probably just got about 50 more gray hair.
I think
Yes, you did, Tish.
Yeah, I think she is definitely here to stay. I don't see her retiring anytime soon. When you win another title, especially after all those years, and if you prove to yourself, I still can compete, all the changes I'm making are working, you know what? It drives you even more. And she's a fierce competitor. She is going to be back.
Well, I hope that she does right now, on her, as you mentioned, on her 232nd consecutive national event. She needs to go into next year.
Here's her last shot. And I think she wanted to end on a perfect note, and you can't get any more perfect than that.
So Liz Johnson will just finish out here, and we have her second top seed going down to defeat.
Why did you want a bowl on that link?
Tish
I
is
wanted
having
a bowl
little
over there,
fun.
but they wouldn't let me.
She wanted a ball in the practice lane. As I was mentioning with Tish, if she sticks into next year a few events, she'll break the all-time record in bowling, male or female, Harry Sullins, with 239 consecutive events. So she's getting close.
Oh, yes, that's a lot of points.
Well, Tish Johnson wins her first title in more than a year, and she sure is loving it. Stay with us. She's a lot of fun, and we'll be back to talk with her. There's a champion of the Greater Pasadena Open. Final score 246 to 187. And Tish, you've waited a year for a trophy, and Dana Philibert, the councilwoman for the city of Pasadena.
Thank you very much, and we are so pleased that you came to Pasadena, Texas to share in your victory, and what a champion you are.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I know you want the money. Jimmy Young, proprietor here at Diamond Lanes.
On behalf of Diamond Lanes, all your fans, myself, my family, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank WIBC and Travelodge for supporting us. And the fans, you are great. And hi, Mom. And I want to say I love you to Brian and Larry. And I don't know what else to say.
Oh, my God. The first time
Oh,
Tish
my-
Johnson has been speechless. Imagine that. Carolyn, you have a question for her?
22 years, 25 titles later.
Hey, I got another one.
Okay, I want to know, is this your last hurrah? I didn't ask you.
As long as I know that I can still compete, and it's been really hard this year, struggling, and I've been really working on my game hard, and I don't know, tonight it paid off, so I don't think so yet.
All right, and are you going to, since you had to break my Iron Woman record, are you going to continue on and break Harry Sullins at 239?
God, the women are better. We got to.
Oh, yay! Okay, so where does this lead us? You've made changes. You're going to be here out on tour. For how long? According to the crowd, they want you forever.
I feel as long as my body holds up and as long as I can compete, and I do not want to go out not a winner. So as long as I know that I can continue to win and keep making cuts, I'll be out here.
I think you're a winner, Tish.
I think she is too, and congratulations again to Tish Johnson as she captures career title number 25, tying Patty Costello for number 4 on the all-time record. Don't miss Rollers and Pro Bowlers from Brunswick Mesa Lanes next Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Wheelchair bowlers are amazing athletes. For Carolyn, Doran, Ballard, I'm Jan Schmidt. We hope you enjoyed the show. Until next week, stay safe. So long from Pasadena, Texas. This has been a presentation of ESPN.